So the Bears being gifted 4 interceptions by the very generous Joshua Dobbs, and a snooze-inducing 12-10 final in the NFC North. The losing streak for the Chicago Bears, a 12-game divisional losing streak, that is over with. Chicago gets the 4th win on the season. And also the Vikings, they go down. They're 6-6 now, losing a game that seemed like it was just a gimme. You show up and you win. They didn't do it. They didn't show up. They didn't win. So let us discuss. The better story is in the losing locker room, and so that is where we will begin. And we pull out an old friend, the traffic light. We examine the traffic light, and here's the way we're going to do this. So you look at the traffic light, and we examine it for Josh Dobbs. Joshua Dobbs, Viking quarterback. The traffic light right now, is it a red light, a yellow light, or a green light for the Vikings quarterback, who was not only a football player, he was horrible in this game. And there's no other way to say it, how bad Dobbs was. So it is a yellow light. It is a yellow light is what it is. I've got Apple Care, appetizer menu, and gumball. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a sale, a holiday sale. Well, we had just had Cyber Monday, Black Friday. What's the small business days coming up? Anything to get you to dust off your wallet and buy crap. All right, so with that being said, though, we start with this. Joshua Dobbs, right to the gulag, right to the quarterback gulag. You can hang out there. That is a demerit. Now, we like the Dobbs story. We do. It's a good story, right? Chicken soup for the soul. This was actually poison for the soul. This particular performance by the Minnesota quarterback there. He was bad to the bone. Bad, El Stinko in this particular game. But it's not a red light on the traffic signal. I'm not going red light. It's like, this is not the end of it. And I've been hearing a lot of those takes. Well, it's all over now. He had a terrible game. He'll never play well again. He's doomed. Joshua Dobbs. Send him back to NASA. And while I love a good overreaction, I am not at that point. I am not. No, I did wax, but I gave him the jinx, the television jinx, when we talked about him on Benny versus the Penny, and pointed out there's a comeback player of the year and that whole thing, and I don't think we have to worry about that right now for Joshua Dobbs after this particular performance. I will be Benny Brightside. I'm going to be Benny Brightside because the positive here is that a number of these interceptions, there were 4 of them to choose from, a number of them were tipped. So I look at a tipped interception like I look at a fumble. A fumble's a 50-50 proposition. Now, when you fumble the ball, in theory, the defense and your offense have an equal amount of opportunity to get said football. And when a pass is tipped, now the odds do favor the defense more than the offense because typically when you throw a pass, there's multiple defenders around and only one pass catcher. But still, it doesn't guarantee that it's going to be intercepted when you throw a pass that is tipped. But this was absolutely the old Southwest Airlines marketing campaign, want to get away for Joshua Dobbs, right? Bury your head in the ground like an ostrich, all of that. But I will not be a prisoner of the moment. And here's the thing. Did we all think all of a sudden that Joshua Dobbs was the reincarnation of Tom Brady for the Vikings? Is that, or maybe Tommy Kramer would be a better analogy. But no, of course not. I look at it like this. I have an iPhone, and every once in a while a thing will break, right? If you happen to have Apple Care, you have the Apple Care, you go down and you get a new phone. They give you a replacement phone. And I've had to do this a few times in my life. The phone, while it is functional, the replacement phone, it is never as good as the original. It is. I've had multiple replacement phones. I have never had one as good as the original phone. But it gets it done. You can work with it. So you just got the Vikings have to deal with it. You can still make the playoffs. They can still get in there. Now, page 2 here. What the heck happened to the Brian Flores Minnesota defense? It's like, how can you rip the Minnesota Vikings defense? They didn't give up a touchdown. They only gave up field goals. That's a great performance. No, it's not. You didn't watch the game. This game, even as bad as the Vikings played, a dog with fleas, right? They were maggots crawling all over the Vikings. Still, they had the game. They still had the game. And they had the lead, final minutes of the game. And what happened? The Brian Flores-led Vikings team, he's the defensive guru there. They completely zoned out. Literally and figuratively, they zoned out. He didn't trust his guys. He was worried that somebody's going to get burned and give up a big play. And so they went to the zone, and they still got burned. They still got burned. Now, I'm not upset by this because I happen to have the Chicago Bears plus the 3.5. So I was happy with the outcome of the game. But as a neutral arbiter of the sporting news of the day, I'm watching that, and I'm like, oh, man, what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? They did it. They did it. They did it. Worried about the big mistake. They made the big mistake. Total debacle. And you break down the Purple People Eaters defense in layman's terms. If you look at the appetizer menu, they are the artichoke dip. They choked at the end of this game, is what they did. They wilted under pressure. And the Chicago Bears, you just keep them out of field goal range. Their kicker already missed a field goal early in the game. Keep them out of field goal range. Couldn't do it. They lose the game. So the Bears win, but you look at the draft, we'll get to that later, where they're at. It's really good news for the Patriots more than anything because they don't really have to worry about the Chicago Bears. There's no way the Patriots win 4 games, right? Even if the other team doesn't show up, the Patriots aren't going to win a couple more games the way they're playing this year. All right, last word here. Talking about the Monday night game. Does this particular game count for the Chicago Bears quarterback, Justin Fields, as a breakout performance, a signature win for Justin Fields? Prime time, divisional rival, road game, win, win, win. And I'm hearing this chatter that the Minnesota Vikings going down to the Bears, that this signals something more meaningful, that this is an omen of future events. I'm seeing that, and I'm puzzled by this. So does this game count as a signature win for Justin Fields? And the sad answer is actually yes, because this proves what an absolute boondoggle his Chicago career has been, right? And it's a total hot mess right now. And we had said on the TV shows, we pointed out it's like a dummy run. The rest of this season, and whatever happens, it is an audition to try to convince some other dumb team to bring him in because the Bears are going to get rid of him and they'll bring somebody else in. But that's where we are, right? It's an audition. And if I'm grading Justin Fields, I'm not impressed. I'm not. Some are celebrating this as crossing the Rubicon. And I don't see it. You got to be joking if you're saying that. You're such a fanboy for Justin Fields. Open your eyes. Open your bloody eyes here. Cairo Santos was the hero with the 4 field goals there. Justin Fields continues to be a classic gumball machine. Meaning, these old gumball machines, you put a couple of quarters in, maybe it's like $7 now with inflation, but you put a couple quarters in the gumball machine when you're a kid, if you're old, and you had no idea what color gumball was going to come out. You think you knew, but you didn't know because there might be one of those little gumballs that are stuck inside the inner workings of the machine. Like it might look like there's a nice, delicious purple gumball, which is what you want, but maybe you'll get the yellow. You might get the green gumball. You don't really know until you flip the thing and the gumball comes down. You got to turn that little handle. You got to twist the handle on the gumball machine. And that's with Justin Fields from play to play. Like there's the video game highlight, right? He's wonderful. And then the next play, dum-da-dum-dum-dum, and you don't know. He lost 2 fumbles on 2 consecutive drives late in the game for the Chicago football team that set the Vikings up. And then on a 3rd down and 10, found DJ Moore thanks to the generosity of the Minnesota Vikings defense, and that set up the field goal. So the screw-ups are there. They're still there. This continues to be a boondoggle, inadequate performance, dinking the ball around the field. They're averaging less than 6 yards per pass attempt. and the passer rating wasn't very good. He was like he was completing a lot of passes, but they were all rudimentary passes. Like the Bears are afraid to have him throw the ball anywhere but within the line of scrimmage. Most of the game, that was the way it went. But people are like, well, this is a measuring stick game. And okay, that says a lot. That says a lot.